Hey guys, it's Tash. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do a blush collection video. Just before I pack them, I thought I'd share what I have with you. So this here is my blush straw, and I have a few highlighters from about here. But everything from here and then these two rows are all blushes. So I thought I'd go through them with you. So without further ado, let's get on with it. This is the Essence Blush Lighter Radiant Powder Blush. This gives a really nice soft glow to the skin, but I'm actually going to declutter this one. This isn't a declutter video, but it is broken, as you can see, and it annoys me every time. It wasn't too expensive, I can get another one, but I am going to declutter that one because the packaging is practically falling apart. Here's a swatch of that blush. It's called Cassie Sunburst. It's a shame it's broken because it is really pretty. I might try and repurchase it, but the packaging isn't very good in my opinion. This next blush is by Glowish and it's in the shade Caring Coral. And this is what Caring Coral looks like. When you see it next to that Essence blush, this is supposed to be from a line called Glowish, and I don't really see anything glowy about it. I do like the blush though, and I like the formula, and I feel like it makes my skin look a bit more soft focused. I do want to try more of these in the future. There's a peach shade that I'd quite like to try. Don't be fooled by the name of the brand with this one. The brand is called Glowish, but there's not really much glowy about this blush. Okay, even though I said this wasn't a declutter video, I'm actually going to declutter this Wet n Wild blush in Pinch Me Pink. This is what it looks like. This is part of their Colour Icon range. I just find this blush to be really sheer. I can't seem to build it up on the cheeks very well, so it's just not very pigmented when I put it on with my brush. So it is showing up on my hand when I swatch it, but it doesn't transfer like that on my cheeks. So I'm going to actually get rid of this one. I have my Blushing Hearts Triple Baked Blusher by Makeup Revolution, and this is in the shade Candy Queen of Hearts. And this is basically a rip-off of the old Too Faced Love Heart blushes, which I do own one of those still, we'll come to it later. It's nice and pigmented. I do like a blush that you can build up as well. I think that's actually easier to work with, but I also like a pigmented blush. I just very lightly tap my brush into this product, and that's about enough for me to work with. Now I have some Super Shock cheek blushes from Colourpop and the Tinkerbell collab. This is in Magic Moon. Now I'm not usually a fan of cream products. You will see that I don't really have any cream products in my collection, but this is more of a cream to powder formula and I get on with it really well. So this is Magic Moon right here. It's so nice and pigmented. This next shade is called Darling. It's a much deeper shade than Magic Moon and it does have some flecks of gold going through it. I think this is really pretty. With a light hand I can get away with wearing this. Okay, we probably all know what this blush is. It's Milani Luminoso. And this is a really popular blush for a reason. It just leaves a really beautiful luminous look on your cheeks. And I think the colour is just stunning as well. We have some blushes coming up from Makeup Revolution now, and these are the Revolution Pro Luster blushes. This one is in Peach. If you're not into super shiny blushes, then these probably aren't for you, but I really, really like them. And they go on really smoothly on the cheeks, they don't look glittery or anything like that. I also have it in the shade White Rose. And there's White Rose, it's just like that vibrant kind of baby pink colour. And then this one is in Pink Rose. Here is a Pink Rose. You can see a bit of silver running through this one. It's so pretty. I have this Pixie blush in collaboration with Hello Kitty, and this is in Friendly Blush. Now this is really beautiful as a highlighter if you have deeper skin, but I tend to use it as a blush topper because it is slightly too deep for me as a highlighter. I just think the imprint is really cute. And I'll swatch it for you. So this is what it looks like. I can get away with using it as a blush, but sometimes I like to use it as a blush topper as well if I want my blush to be more glowy. But yeah, I really love this. This formula is really nice as well. If you haven't tried the Pixie blush formula, then you should definitely try it out. Next up I have this Flower Beauty blush in Peach Primrose. This is what Peach Primrose looks like. I'm not sure if you can get Flower Beauty in the UK anymore. I don't seem to find them on Superdrug anymore, so I don't know what's going with that. I feel like they are reformulating some of their products, so I'm not sure if that's what's happening. The next blush I have is the Beauty Bay Powder Blush in Bitten. This is what it looks like here. It's just a really nice mauvey pink colour. And I actually really like this blush formula. I'm impressed so far with most of the things I've tried from Beauty Bay's own brand. And I'd like to try more in the future. So we've got some more Revolution blushes coming up now. And this is in the Revolution Blusher Reloaded formula. And this is in Peaches and Cream. You can tell from the names I love it and the swatches I love a peachy blush. This is Peaches and Cream here. This is more of a buildable formula, but it does show up really nicely on the cheeks once you get it on. I also have Rhubarb and Custard. Here is a swatch of Rhubarb and Custard. This one is in the shade Ballerina. There's Ballerina. There is a swatch of Love Struck. We have Violet Love, and here is Violet Love. And lastly we have Sweet Pea. So here is Sweet Pea. It's quite good for fair skin tones. And yeah, I just really like that formula, and it's really affordable as well. Moving on to the second row, I have this Essence The Blush. And this is in the shade Breathtaking. And this is what Breathtaking looks like. It's just a nice, smooth, pigmented formula. I really like this line of blushes. I do want to get some more. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's the Collection Gorgeous Glow Blush Block. I don't know if you can see, but I've made quite a dent in the middle. This is quite an old blush, but the formula is still really good, so I still use it. And again, it's just one of those really glowy formulas with a bit of gold running through it. We then have this e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush, and this is in the shade Always Lucky. This is a really beautiful shade, but I find that it's way too pigmented and deep for me. It's just a beautiful berry shade. I can go lightly with it, and I prefer to use it in the autumn months, but I am going to actually let this one go because I know somebody that would really like this. Now we have some Colourpop blushes, and these are from the Disney Princesses line, and this is what it looks like inside. This is the shade Enchanted Mirror. That's Enchanted Mirror. And again, I do really get on with the formula of these blushes. I just find them soft and blendable. This next shade is Kissin' a Frog. We then have Floating Lights. Here is Floating Lights. And lastly, we have Court of Miracles. And this is just a beautiful bright coral blush. Who remembers these Urban Decay Afterglow blushes? This is really old. They don't make these anymore. This is in the shade Score. This is what it looks like inside. Here is Score. I really like this blush. I feel like it's perfect for my skin tone. And although it's old, I am going to hang on to it because the formula is absolutely fine. I've got a couple more limited edition products. This is the Wet n Wild Colour Icon Baked Blush, and this is in Hummingbird Hype. Firstly, let's just talk about this design in the blush. It's so pretty. And again, this is just another one of those glowy blushes with gold running through it. I also have the shade Don't Flutter Yourself, and that's just the more pinky version. Next up, I have a bunch of blushes from e.l.f. These are the e.l.f. Bite Size blushes, and I think I got most shades. So let's start off with the shade Pomegranate. This has a blush, basically a glowy blush or a highlighter or a blush topper. You can use this for whatever you like. I really like this formula. I think they're about £4. I think the formula is really, really good. You can see this highlighter is actually too deep for me, so I just use it as a blush topper. We have White Peach. So here is White Peach. This is the blush and the highlighter. Again, I just use this as a blush topper. This next shade is called Lychee, and here is Lychee. You can see that this highlighter for lighter skin tones could be used as a blush alone as well if you want a really glowy look. This is one of my favourites. This is called Spiced Apple. Here is Spiced Apple. The same goes with this. You can definitely use this as a blush topper or a blush on its own. This next one is called Guava. This here is what Guava looks like. This blush is quite pale, so I'd recommend it more for fairer skin tones. This next one is called Cantaloupe, and here are the swatches of Cantaloupe. And finally we have Watermelon. And here are the swatches of Watermelon. Again, a very pale shade. I'd recommend this more for fairer skin tones, but it does show up on me, so I really do like it. We have another old school blush now, and this is the Too Faced Sweetheart Blusher. And this is in Something About Berry. I should probably get rid of this. It is really old, but I'm not going to. I do really love the formula of this. So here is Something About Berry by Too Faced. Here is another old school blush. This is in Rockateur. I've actually hit major pan on this, and I think I'm going to declutter it for my collection because I pretty much finished it up. As much as I love the look of the new blushes by Benefit, I really do miss that shade. Here is Rockateur. It doesn't look like anything much on the skin, but once you get it on the cheeks, it just gives a really beautiful sheen. Next I have this NYX blush in Soft Spoken. It's not too dissimilar to Rockateur, although I'd say this is more peachy. I'm going to get rid of this blush though because I just never reach for it. There's nothing wrong with it, I just don't really reach for it. I have another e.l.f. Primer Infused blush in the shade Always Lucky. And again, this is nice, but it's way too deep for me, so I'm actually going to get rid of this. These are so pigmented, and I can make them work, but it takes effort, so I'm going to get rid of these. Okay, we're nearly done. So moving on to this third row. Half of this third row is blushes, and the other half is highlighters. That's going to be a different video. This is the Too Faced Too Femme blush, and again, it's got such a pretty imprint in there. And here is a swatch of Too Femme. It's super pigmented, super smooth. Absolutely love this formula. I have another limited edition Wet n Wild blush in the shade Exit Stage Left. I can't quite remember what collection this was from, but I'll swatch it for you anyway. It's just right here. I've got a couple of fun blushes here from the Hello Kitty and Colourpop collab. This is in Aloha Honey, and although it looks frightening in the pan, it's actually just a really bright coral, but it's more buildable than anything. It's not as intense as it looks in the pan. The next one I have is Island Shine. This is what it looks like inside. Here is Island Shine. This is more of your pinky blush, like a mid-tone pink. Next up I have my Bare Minerals bronzer in the shade Kiss of Pink. I absolutely love this. I don't really see the bronzing effect to it but it is a really nice blush. I suppose in the swatch it looks more like it could have a bronzing effect, but when I put it on my cheeks it's just like a really nice mauve colour. But I love this blush, I love the formula of this. I'm so glad they brought out these shades, I need to get them. Okay, this blush is the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush in the shade Pillow Talk. This is what Pillow Talk looks like, it's absolutely going nowhere. I love this formula. I do want to get more of those Charlotte Tilbury blushes, but they're so expensive. Next up I have the L'Oreal Life's a Peach blush. Not the best swatch there, but that's Life's a Peach by L'Oreal. And lastly I have the Physicians Formula Butter Blush, and this is in Vintage Rouge. This is a really pale blush, so I'd recommend this more for fairer skin. But this is what it looks like just here. But again, it's a really nice formula. I love the smell of these blushes and bronzers. If you don't like that holiday coconut tropical smell, then you're probably not going to like strong, or you don't like strong scents, you're probably not going to like that, but I absolutely love it. I did lie when I said last blush. I've got two more to show you that live on top of my blushes because they can't quite get in. I have these Lo-Fi blushes by Kaleidos, and I think they've discontinued these, but I love them. You get one matte, one glowy blush, and I think the formula is so cool. I can't believe they're discontinuing these. And finally we have this one in the shade Lo-Fi Rose, and honestly these feel like butter to swatch. They are so smooth and creamy. So here are the swatches of Lo-Fi Rose. So even though this wasn't a declutter video, I did declutter 6 of my blushes. One was broken, one was practically gone, and the other 4 I just didn't feel like I needed. I can pass them on to somebody else. I have made a teeny tiny bit of room in this drawer here. I've got a whole bunch of highlighters to go through, and I think that will be a declutter video because I can see some right now that I really don't want. But this isn't my only lot of highlighters, I have more in the other drawer, but we'll get into that in the next video. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like this. Then just let me know in the comments and I will see you soon.